The annual report page is the page that is going to show how your margins are shaping up for the year. Right now we're looking at 2014, and we are giving you a calendar year view from January to December. The numbers in this table come from what you've entered into the monthly margins and coverage page. Let's take a look. Here we're showing we have contracts in August for corn of $3.83. If we go back to the monthly margins page, we are getting an August contract of $3.83. And that is being made up of the two contracts that we're showing here that were entered into the coverage page. If we take a look at August, we're going to see that we're 100% contracted in August. But let's go over to November, where we're not fully contracted. So now when we go back to the annual report page, when we look at the difference between contracted and contract net weighted, the contract and contract net weighted follow each other up until when we have uncovered usage from October going forward. You can choose what you want to see in the graph by clicking on the legend. Market history, and then read below the legend to read how that was calculated. Every day is priced using the open market futures and applies to feed rations entered in monthly margins. The recommended is the contracted prices based on Cargill recommendations. The difference between Cargill recommended and Cargill recommended net weighted is the net weighted means that we are filling out that is not covered with the open. We're also showing the difference between contracted, which is futures based, and the 24-week contracted. Notice how we have the labels for the 24-week margin color-coded to coincide with the feed consumption by month that we set up in the profit center. In this case, we're seeing a slight difference between a futures-based margin versus 24-week consumption margin. To look to next year, go up into the header and click 2015. We don't have full information. Because we don't have any contracts for January 2015, we are not able to calculate a margin. We are able to calculate a net weighted margin because we are going to be following the open. So in this case, the open and the net weighted is the same, but is different than the 24-week margin, where we're calculating out what the margin would be if we're calculating the cost of the feed over the 24-week consumption period. You can look at calculations behind the numbers by mousing over, in this case, the January first half contract net weighted to see how the numbers are made up on the graph within the mouse over. If you have more than one profit center, you can filter them by clicking on the filter buttons on top. An example in this file is shown when we have more than one profit center.